I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaint, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint.
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed online.
Buckle up, folks, because we're diving headfirst into one of the most explosive celebrity legal sagas in recent memory. Imagine Hollywood glamour colliding with courtroom drama. This is the Blake Lively-verse. Justin Baldoni legal showdown, and trust us, it's juicier than anything you've seen on the big screen. But how did we even get here? How did two seemingly polished stars of a romantic drama end up slinging lawsuits, accusations, and subpoenas like they're part of a real-life soap opera? Let's break it all down, because there's a lot to unpack.
Well, it's still getting messier and messier in the It Ends With Us feud between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
First, let's set the stage. Blake Lively, the Gossip Girl icon turned Hollywood power player, finds herself in the middle of a heated legal battle with her former co-star and director, Justin Baldoni. The two worked together on the adaptation of the best-selling novel It Ends With Us, a project that came with high expectations, both professionally and emotionally. On paper, it was supposed to be a dream collaboration. But somewhere along the way, things fell apart, and now their feud has spilled out of the set and into the courtroom, dragging in lawyers, PR teams, and even a few unexpected celebrities.
And one of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film. This is important.
The latest twist comes from the legal duo Stuart Albertson and Keith Davidson, who are making waves with their sharp commentary on the case through their popular Ask to Lawyers YouTube channel. These two aren't just dabbling in legal gossip. They're full-time heavyweights in the courtroom who, by their own admission, have had to dig through hundreds of pages of complaints and counter-complaints just to make sense of the mess. This isn't just any lawsuit. It's like a Hollywood blockbuster in legal form, Davidson quipped during a recent interview. And honestly, he's not wrong.
New video released by lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni showed unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us.
Now, for those who might be wondering why Blake Lively is the one being referred to as the plaintiff here, it all boils down to timing. According to Albertson, she filed first. She filed the initial complaint with the California Civil Rights Department and then followed up with a lawsuit. That automatically makes her the plaintiff. Baldoni, of course, wasted no time firing back with his own cross-complaint, which adds layers of complexity to an already tangled web. Legally speaking, he's a defendant, but he's also a cross-complainant, Davidson explained, noting that both sides are essentially building their cases in parallel. And let's not forget, each party has to present enough evidence to stand on its own, which is no small feat when we're talking about hundreds of millions of currency units in potential damages. But here's where it gets even more fascinating: the legal strategy. In most jurisdictions, when someone is sued, they're required to put all the cards on the table. That means not just responding to the claims against them, but also bring forward any counterclaims or grievances they may have. The idea is to hash it all out at once. The court doesn't want to see these disputes dragged out over years in separate lawsuits. They want everyone to bring everything to the table now. And boy, have they brought a lot to the table: allegations of harassment, defamation, retaliation, and even claims of a smear campaign.
Now to the ongoing Hollywood drama everyone is talking about, the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Of course, the financial stakes in a case like this are astronomical. According to industry estimates, both sides are shelling out small fortunes just to keep their legal teams in the fight. This is all hourly, Davidson noted. I would be shocked if this were contingency-based. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of currency units, if not millions, being spent monthly by each side. And this will only escalate as we approach the trial date in March 2026. So, what's driving all this? Why hasn't there been a settlement yet? After all, most cases like this never actually make it to trial. It all comes down to pride, public perception, and, of course, money. Lively's team has made it clear that they're seeking to expose what they believe was a deliberate campaign to damage her reputation. Meanwhile, Baldoni's camp insists that the claims against him are baseless and part of an orchestrated effort to take over the creative direction of the film. Both sides are digging in their heels, and neither seems willing to back down.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against them.
Albertson and Davidson, however, believe that a settlement is not only possible, but likely. There's a 99% chance this case settles before it ever sees a jury, Albertson predicted. But what would that look like? According to these legal experts, it would probably involve a significant financial payout from one party to the other, along with a carefully crafted public apology. And here's the kicker: that apology could be the key to salvaging public opinion. The American public loves a redemption arc, Albertson said. If Blake Lively came out and said, "I I overstated some things. I'm sorry. I was going through a tough time. People would forgive her. The same goes for Baldoni if he were to extend an olive branch. But let's not forget the role of credibility in all this. Trials are about more than just evidence. They're about perception, and one misstep can cost you everything. You can't overstate your claims. When you do, and the other side can prove it, your case is done. This is particularly relevant in Lively's situation, as her initial complaint reportedly included some claims that were later walked back or clarified in an amended filing. For example, early allegations about inappropriate behavior on set were later softened, which has given Baldoni's team plenty of ammunition to question her credibility.
But this is such a interpretation of perspective, because I watched the footage, and I'm sure we all have, and, it's very easy to argue.
And speaking of ammunition, subpoenas have become a central weapon in this legal battle. Lively's team recently issued sweeping subpoenas to phone carriers and internet providers seeking to uncover what they describe as irrefutable evidence of a coordinated smear campaign. They're asking for every single call, text, and even real-time location data from the past 25 years, Baldoni's lawyer Brian Friedman complained. But to Lively's lawyers, these subpoenas are a necessary step to expose the tactics allegedly used to tarnish her name. So, where does this leave us? For now, both sides are gearing up for a long and expensive discovery process, with depositions expected to play a critical role. And let's be clear, these depositions are no walk in the park. They'll be videotaped, scrutinized, and potentially leaked, adding yet another layer of drama to an already chaotic situation. If I were Blake Lively's attorney, I would want this case settled before she ever sits for a deposition, Albertson said. Because once that footage is out there, it can take on a life of its own. As the legal fireworks continue, one thing is certain. This case is as much about public perception as it is about the law. Both sides are playing the PR game, using press releases, social media, and strategic leaks to shape the narrative. And let's not forget the ripple effects this is having on other players in Hollywood. Ryan Reynolds, Lively's husband, has also been dragged into the fray, with some speculating that his billion-unit brand could take a hit if public opinion turns against them.
So it is important in times like these to have a distraction. And that's why I want to personally extend my gratitude to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively.
And if you thought the first half of this saga was messy, just wait. Things are about to get even more chaotic. The stakes are higher, the strategies are more ruthless, and the public perception. Well, let's just say this case has turned into a full-on legal circus, and everyone's watching to see who will come out on top. So let's pick up where we left off. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni aren't just fighting a legal battle here. They're also locked in a war of public opinion, and it's getting uglier by the day.
Thank you for providing us with that distraction. I'm grateful. I think we're all grateful. And I think we're good. I think everybody in this room, no matter whose side you're on, we can all agree to accept that there's probably not going to be a sequel.
Now, you might be wondering, why is this case such a big deal? After all, Hollywood's no stranger to lawsuits. But this isn't your run-of-the-mill celebrity dispute. This case has it all. Accusations of a toxic work environment, claims of orchestrated smear campaigns, and even allegations of meddling from other listers. That's right, folks. Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift have been dragged into this too, and the drama just keeps escalating. Let's talk about the subpoenas for a second, because they're a huge part of what's fueling the fire here. Blake's legal team is going all in, demanding phone records and internet logs from Justin Baldoni and his associates. They're not just asking for a few texts or calls. They want everything, every single communication from the past 2.5 years, and Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, isn't exactly thrilled about it. He's called the move a massive fishing expedition, claiming that Lively's team is grasping at straws to back up what he describes as provably false claims. But here's the kicker. Lively's camp is confident that these records will expose what they say is a coordinated effort to ruin her reputation. They've even hinted at uncovering a web of individuals involved in the alleged smear campaign, which, let's be honest, sounds like something straight out of a spy thriller.
Okay, so for those of you, just a quick two-liner for those of you not following it. They started this movie, It Ends With Us, about domestic violence. It was his movie that he bought the rights for from the woman who wrote the book, Colleen Hoover. And then he managed to convince Blake Lively to star in it with him, and all hell broke loose.
And it's not just Baldoni who's feeling the heat. The subpoenas also target PR consultants like Jed Wallace and Melissa Nathan, who are accused of playing key roles in this so-called campaign. According to Lively's team, internal messages show these individuals bragging about shifting the public narrative against her. They even claimed that Wallace laughed about how easily people were willing to turn against a woman. If that's true, it's a damning accusation, and it's no wonder Lively's team is eager to get their hands on the receipts.
Well, guess what she just did this week? She scrubbed all of her social media of Blake Lively. She'd already stepped away from Justin. Now she's scrubbed all of her social media from Blake Lively because I think she's starting to realize she made a mistake.
But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. This isn't just about legal strategies or who said what in a text message. This is about the court of public opinion, and both sides are playing hardball. Baldoni's team has released unedited footage from the set of It Ends With Us, which they claim disproves Lively's allegations of misconduct. Meanwhile, Lively's lawyers have dismissed the footage as irrelevant, arguing that it only tells part of the story. It's a classic case of he said, she said, and the public is left trying to figure out who to believe.
A 2009 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively. She was on the cover at the time. And in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star, Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, at first I was so upset that they had hired him. I actually poisoned the whole cast against him.
And speaking of public perception, let's talk about Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. Their involvement in this case has added a whole new layer of intrigue and controversy. According to Baldoni's lawsuit, Lively used her close friendship with Swift to exert pressure on him during the film's production. There's even a text message where Baldoni reportedly tells Lively that he liked her rewrites but didn't need Ryan and Taylor to convince him. Lively, in turn, referred to Reynolds and Swift as her dragons, suggesting that they're fiercely protective of her. It's a dramatic choice of words, to say the least, and it's only added fuel to the fire. But here's where it gets even messier. The alleged rooftop scene rewrite that has been at the center of so much speculation. According to Baldoni's legal filings, during pre-production, Lively insisted on changing a critical scene in the film, introducing new dialogue and thematic elements. Baldoni initially hesitated, concerned that the changes might alter the tone of the story. However, after a private meeting at Lively and Reynolds' New York home, where Taylor Swift was also present, Baldoni claims he felt pressured to agree. Allegedly, the influence of these two mega celebrities, as Baldoni's lawsuit describes them, weighed heavily on his decision, leaving him little room to push back. Whether this was a case of genuine collaboration or overreach remains a hotly debated point among fans and legal analysts alike.
First and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan, or something that they were attempting.
Complicating matters further are the text messages that reportedly followed this meeting, showcasing an unusual dynamic between the two stars. In one message, Baldoni expressed his appreciation for Lively's creative contributions, but made a point of mentioning that he didn't need Reynolds and Swift to push him into it. This has been interpreted by some as a subtle admission of discomfort, while Lively's response, describing Swift and Reynolds as her creative barometers, paints a picture of a tight-knit group protecting one of their own. The optics of this exchange have led some to question whether Lively wielded her celebrity connections as leverage, adding another layer of tension to an already contentious case.
Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped, and people began looking into it.
Meanwhile, Taylor Swift's involvement has sparked its own wave of controversy, especially given her track record as a vocal advocate for fairness and empowerment. Some fans are questioning whether her presence at the meeting and perceived role in the negotiations align with her public image. Others, however, argue that her loyalty to Lively is understandable, especially considering their long-standing friendship. Swift has remained silent on the matter, but her name being dragged into the lawsuit has undoubtedly added more fuel to the fire, leaving many to wonder if she'll eventually be called to testify. Could a courtroom appearance from one of the world's biggest stars turn this legal battle into an even bigger spectacle? Now, let's not forget the financial side of things. Both Lively and Baldoni are reportedly spending millions on their legal teams, and the costs are only going to rise as the case moves forward. But it's not just about money. It's also about their careers. For Baldoni, the stakes couldn't be higher. Reputation experts have warned that even if he wins in court, the damage to his brand could be irreversible. Studios might see him as too risky to work with, especially if they believe another legal battle could be lurking around the corner. And then there's the issue of public support. While Baldoni has gained sympathy from some fans, others remain skeptical, questioning whether his emotional vulnerabilities are genuine or just a calculated PR movie.
That's going to be, probably a game time decision. Anyone that reasonably has information that can be, that can provide evidence in this case is going to be deposed.
On the flip side, Lively's reputation is also on the line. She's been accused of overstating her claims, and some critics have labeled her as manipulative or overly controlling. Even if she manages to settle the case, there is a lingering question: will the public forgive her? Some fans have already made up their minds, with one commenter saying, "Blake is toast. The public is not going to glide over this, even with an apology." Another fan didn't hold back, declaring, "Regardless if they settle and apologize, I will not change my opinion of Blake, Ryan, and Taylor. I'm done with anything they are involved in. Justice for Justin." And let's not ignore the role of social media in all this. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube have become battlegrounds for fans dissecting every piece of evidence, every leaked text, and every PR statement. One viral TikTok even compiled clips of Blake Lively's interviews during the film's promotional tour, accusing her of dominating conversations and overshadowing her younger co-star, Isabella Ferrer. The video sparked a heated debate, with some viewers criticizing Lively for hogging the spotlight. One commenter wrote that she was embarrassing herself yet again, while another added that it was so unreal and that she should let the other girl talk. Whether or not these criticisms are fair, they highlight how even the smallest details can take on a life of their own in the digital age.
So it's a lot about choices. And then they carry this love, and it's just very, it's very grown up.
It's neat to see where they came from, though, and see how authentic these people truly are and what good people they truly are, too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This case is far from over. The trial isn't set to begin until March 2026, which means we're likely to see plenty more twists and turns in the coming months. Both sides are digging in their heels, and neither seems willing to back down. Will there be a settlement? Will we get a dramatic public apology? Or will this case go all the way to trial, with both sides airing their dirty laundry for the world to see?
The idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life.
One thing's for sure, this isn't just a legal battle. It's a full-on media spectacle. And as the drama unfolds, it's clear that the stakes go beyond money or career prospects. This is about power, perception, and the lengths people will go to protect their reputations. So what do you think? Is Blake Lively the wronged party here, or is Justin Baldoni the real victim? And how will this case impact their futures in Hollywood? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding drama. Because if there's one thing we can count on, it's that this story is far from over.